بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum once again, and welcome to another episode of Advanced Structures. So today, inshallah, we are starting our last topic on this entire journey that we've been. Subhanallah, can you guys imagine? We started all the way from the beginning, and now we are almost done. Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll wrap up the entire advanced structure. So basically, this topic is a bit bigger. So I didn't want to teach it, in one go. So I split it in half. So we're going to do half of it today, and inshallah, tomorrow we'll finish off and basically just wrap up everything and would have been done, and then we'll decide what to do next, inshallah. So I'm excited for that. Alhamdulillah, it's been a long journey, but it's been a great one. Alhamdulillah. So today we're going to start with plurals. This is the last topic in advanced structures. And basically what we need to understand about plurals in Arabic is that it's different and broader than in English. In English, you have basically your normal plurals, and then you have your abnormal plurals, like your irregular. So you have your regular plurals where you just add es, like, I don't know, houses. So you have, for example, a house becomes houses. So that's what you have in English. That's a regular plural. Or you have an irregular plural where you have something like, I don't know, goose becomes geese. So something like that. So you have basically, I think those are the main ones. I don't know that they have other categorizations. Yeah, but in Arabic, you have quite a bit. Yeah. So it's a big topic, this al-Jumu'a. In fact, there's even a book where somebody just compiled all the different plurals for a particular word. So if you're looking at a word like bait, you can go to bait, the word, and you'll see all the different plurals that you'd have, the different kinds of plural that you can have for the word bait. It's amazing, honestly. It's a big topic. But what we're going to do today, so we're just going to look at the main categories of plurals. That's the first thing. And then tomorrow we'll look at now broken sound versus broken. In other words, sound plurals versus broken plurals. That's what we look at tomorrow. But today we just look at the different categories of plurals that are there. Okay. So Bismillah. So the first one is sound plurals, what we call Jam'u as-Salim. So you have Jam'u Mudhakkar as-Salim and Jam'u Mu'annath as-Salim. So these are what we call sound plurals. Either it's going to be sound masculine plural or it's going to be sound feminine plural. In other words, to simplify that, Muslimun chat. So you have Muslimuna, Muslimina, Muslimina, the plural chat, the plural side. Or you have Muslimatun, Muslimatin, Muslimatin. That's basically what we're talking about. When we talk about sound plurals, that's what we're talking about. Una, ina, ina, atun, atin, atin. Simple, done, basic. We understand that. There's not really much to sound plurals. That's it. Now, when you're looking at sound plurals, they're normally treated as, three reality. We covered this long ago. So when you have when you have something in a sentence, you would treat it as three reality. Or if you're describing something, you would describe it as three reality. What do we mean by three reality? Basically, una, ina, ina, atun, atin, atin. You guys understand that? Like, we covered this a while back. Okay. All right. So that's the first category. There are two main categories actually. So there's sound and then there's broken plurals. These are the main categories. Although there are other categories that we are going to look at, but these are the main ones. So that's the first main category, sound plurals. We know that. Okay. So the second main category is the broken plurals, which is Jam'u taksir. We also are familiar with broken plurals. Okay. So we covered this a while back. And these are the plurals that don't follow the Muslimun chart. Basically, it's not sound. When we say sound, is that it follows, for example, Muslimun. So this is the word. When we are making it into a plural that is sound, we don't change anything on this word. We just add something to it. So the word is sound. The word has not been disrupted, has not been changed, has not been tampered with. Nothing has happened to the word. So we are just basically adding something to the end of it. Or when we're adding Muslimuna, it's still Muslim, and then we're adding una. So you see the Muslim is still intact into the word. So that's why it's called sound. So broken plural is the opposite of that, which basically means that we're going to break the word. We are actually breaking the word and inserting things inside of it. Okay? So it's not sound, it's actually broken in that sense. Okay? So that's what we mean by broken or sound. Now here, again, it's further divided into two. We learned this a long time ago. Either it could be a non-human broken plural, non-human broken plural, and we know that these ones, they are treated as singular feminine, 1F. Or it could be a human broken plural, and by human broken plural, we actually mean like intelligent beings. So we mean human beings, we mean angels, we mean jinn, you know, intelligent beings is what we mean by human broken plural. And these ones, they can either be treated as singular feminine, which is rarely, but most of the time it's treated as three reality, which means it's going to be treated as whatever. If it's masculine, it's going to be masculine. If it's feminine, it's going to be feminine. I think that's pretty much clear so far. Okay. If there are any questions, please ask. But I think that's pretty straightforward, right? We've covered this before. Now, I'm going to introduce a couple of other things that probably some of you may not have heard about. The first one is, so these are other plurals that maybe you didn't know about, but they exist. So the first one is jam'ul jam'a. This is basically what we call a super plural. So it's a plural of a plural, okay? So these words are basically what we call sama'i, and sama'i from the word sama'a, to hear. So these words, they don't have a particular structure, you know, like the way you have a particular family, for example, daraba yadribu darban fahuwa daribun, that particular structure. So these words, they just had them. The Arabs used to use them, and they were passed down like that. You can't really put them into a particular family or you can't fix them anywhere. Okay, so they're not in a particular form, if you will. Okay, so that's what we mean by sama'i. And these words, these super plurals, they can either be sound or they can be broken. So remember the two main categories, they're either sound or broken. But then you have these other kinds of plurals that just, they basically exist, but you know, they can either be sound or broken, right? So here we are saying super plurals can either be sound or broken. Let's look at an example. For example, if somebody said bait. Bait is a house, single, one house. The plural for that is buyut. Now you see buyut isn't sound because the word bait was not maintained. The bait was broken basically, and something was inserted to make a broken plural, which is buyut. So bait, buyut, house, houses. Now you can actually take buyut and even make it an even bigger plural. You can say buyutat. Now we took this word buyut, which is already a broken plural, and then we added atun, atin at the end. So now we made it sound. Now it's sound. So it went from being broken to being sound. And this right here, buyutat, is actually a super plural. It's like, I don't know how, in what context they would use that, but I'm imagining like you have houses and then you have like clusters of houses, maybe in that sense. I don't know. But so they had a word like that, buyutat, which is a super plural. Or for example, you have hin. Hin means basically where or at the time. Yeah. Ahyan means times. Ahyan, sometimes, or times. Yeah. And then you have the broken plural for that. So they took this word ahyan, broke it again, and made it into a super plural, which is ahayin. So you can see sometimes it can be broken, like in this case. So sorry, why is it not writing? So this is broken, and this is sound. Okay, so these are the super plurals. And again, like we said, these are just sama'i. They're words that were heard and passed down. You know, so not every single word has a super plural, by the way. So this is important to understand. And not every single word has a broken plural. And not, not every word has a sound plural. So that's just something you need to understand, that when it comes to plural, doesn't mean that every single word would have all these plurals. These are just categories. Some words might have only sound plurals. Some words might have only broken plurals. Some words might have a bit of both. Some words might have jam'ul jam, super plurals, and so on and so forth. You understand? So that's just at the back of your mind. You have to have that. If you don't have that, you'll be confused. You'll be like, why are we even discussing all this stuff? Yeah, so just know that some words have this, some words have that. So that's the first category, super plurals. Basically, you take a plural and make it into an even bigger plural. All right. Then you have isim jama. We are familiar with this one. We just maybe are not familiar with the Arabic of it. But isim jama is basically what we know as plural because the Arab said so. Bas. Yeah, because Arab said so. That's how we call it. So this is isim jama. In other words, for example, qawm, nas, qarn. These are the words we learned, right? Now, the idea here is that you have a plural, that the singular version is not in the same word. What do we mean by that? We know in Arabic, words are formed from jidr, from the 3 or 4, 5 root letters. So you have root letters. And those root letters would either give you the sound plural or the broken plural, right? It doesn't matter, but you'll still have the jidr inside there. For example, ha, ya, and nun. In this previous example, what's happening? Ha, ya, and nun. You have ha, ya, and nun. You have ha, ya, and nun. It doesn't really matter which arrangement it is, the jidr is still there. But when it comes to, because the Arab said so, isim jama, most of the time these are words that the singular version of it is a different word from a different jidr, and the plural is a different word from a different jidr. It's really interesting, For example, soldier. A soldier is a askari, for example, is an askari. Yeah. So an askari, askariyun is a single soldier, one soldier. But the army is called jaysh. The army is called jaysh. Very different words. Yeah. So you can see how different that is. Yeah. So we have qawm, usba, jaysh, sha'b, qabila. Yeah. So these are some of the words that you have under this topic of plural because the Arab said so, or isim jama, plural by meaning. Now, again, like we said, we have already covered super plurals. You can actually take these words that are already plural in meaning, because when I say qawm, people, I'm not just talking about one person, am I? Like it's already plural by meaning. In meaning, it's plural. So I can also take these words that are already plural in meaning and even make them into plurals again. So I can make plurals of these plurals. So qawm can be aqwam, jaysh can be juyush, sha'ab can be shu'ub, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Qabila, qabail, things like that. So you can have plurals of these plural words. Yeah. Now, this is where it gets a bit interesting. When you have these words in a jumla fi'liya, and these words are a fa'il, an outside doer, it can either be treated as singular feminine, one F, one she, can either be treated as one she, or it can be treated as one masculine if the fi'il comes before, basically. That's the first part. Or it can be treated as singular masculine or three masculine, that is three reality, three masculine, plural, if the fi'il comes after it. This is, what did I just say? So let's break it down, because again, I know you're probably confused. You're wondering what just happened. So let's say you're looking at a jumla fi'liya. If you're looking at a jumla fi'liya, that means the fi'il came before and then the fa'il came after. That's the structure we remember from a jumla fi'liya. Fi'il, fa'il, maf'ul, muta'alliq. So you have the fi'il and then you have the fa'il. If that is the case, you have the fi'il and the fa'il, and one of these words is the fa'il, then you can either say that the fi'il is, you can treat it as singular feminine or you can treat it as singular masculine. Let's look at this table here so that we can understand what is being said. So when a fi'il comes before, technically, this one we are saying جملة فعلية. I don't like to do that, but I think for understanding it'll be easier. So this is the جملة فعلية. جملة فعلية. So for example, جاء القوم. قوم is one of these words, right? قوم is one of these words. So we can either say جاء. جاء is singular masculine, right? هو جاء. So we can either use the هو version, or we can say جاءت القوم, which is the هي version. So we can have هو version or هي version. This is basically what is being said. Yeah? When the فعل comes before. When the فعل comes before. So جاء القوم or جاءت القوم. That can happen. Okay? So that's one. But if the فعل comes after, in other words, we are looking at a جملة اسمية, most likely. Again, جملة اسمية is a bit tricky. So if we're looking at a جملة اسمية, then there are two possibilities as well. Either it's going to be three masculine, so it's going to be the home version. Okay, so it's going to be the home version, or it's going to be the huwa version. For example, al-qawmu ja'u. Just basically the way we normally do it in a jumla ismiya. So this is the normal way of doing it in a jumla ismiya. And then you have al-qawmu ja'a, the huwa version. All right? So it's a bit tricky like that. How do we know this? Because it comes in the Quran. For example, the first one here, وَإِنْ يُكَذِّبُوكَ فَقَدْ كَذَّبَتْ. The fi'l came before, so this is a jumla fi'liya. And you can see it is the here version. كَذَّبَتْ. So it's here version. And who is the doer? Who is the one that did the lying or the rejecting? كَذَّبَتْ قَوْمُ نُوحٍ وَعَادٌ وَثَمُودٌ. So these are the ones that are doing the lying. And you can see this is feminine, and this is one of those words, قَوْمُ نُوحٍ. قَوْم is basically the doer, and then عاد and ثمود. These are the doers of that. So that's basically how it can come in that sense. Or it can come as singular masculine, huwa version. لا يسخر, لا يسخر. This is huwa version, huwa يسخر. Or basically 1M. Yeah, so this is 1M, singular masculine. لا يسخر قوم. قوم. So this is the doer of يسخر, so that is one masculine. Okay. And then when it comes before, this I didn't find this in the Quran, but this is used a lot in the Quran. So if you're not sure, go with this one. Okay, go with the three masculine. So وَقَوْمَ نُوحٍ لَمَّا كَذَّبُوا, home version, right? This is the one that is common. This other one is not common, but it's there in Arabic. You can say وَقَوْمَ نُوحٍ لَمَّا كَذَبَ. You can say that, or كَذَّبَ in this case. Is that clear? Did I confuse you, or did I just make things like I hope I hope I simplified, because I know this is a bit tricky. I struggled with this too a lot. So yeah, but I hope
your English sister Qawma Nuhi. This is muzaf muzafile.
Yes, this is muzaf muzafile.
So what is this forming here, sister? Lamma kazzabu.
So basically, kazzabu is going back to Qawma Nuhin. Of course, Qawma is mansub for a reason. I don't know what happened in the ayah before, or why is it mansub. So there could be a reason why it is mansub. But we are looking at kazzabu. This is the fi'l. It came after. So the whom inside here is referring to Qawm Nuh.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is jumla failure, na sister. So it is in this way. Qawma Nuhin lamma kazzabu rusula.
I wouldn't say it's a jumla fi'liya.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's a jumla fi'liya. It's more likely a jumla ismiya. More likely.
Okay.
But depending, I don't know why this is nasab. Because so it depends what came before it. Yeah. But the idea is
sorry. But isn't kazabu a jumla fi'liya? I think that's what you meant.
Oh yeah, this word here, this kadhabu rusula, that would be a jumla fi'liya, that whole part. But from the beginning here, I don't know. I don't know what came before qawma Nuhin. So if the sentence just started from here, qawma Nuhin, then it would be a jumla ismiya. Okay, but of course qawma is mansub. I don't know why it's mansub. So maybe something from before made it mansub, or there could be a reason why it's mansub. It could be a dharf. I don't know. No, obviously it's not a dharf, but there could be a reason why it's mansub.
If hum is going towards qawma Nuhin, then it should be something with like file, na sister?
Yeah, but you see, file doesn't come before. File comes after. You cannot have file before the file.
Yeah, that's
I think it's something to do with مشغول عنه, like we have a fi'l that's like hidden.
With مشغول عنه, there has to be a a'id. There's no a'id here.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is not the case of a مشغول عنه. And مشغول عنه, basically you have like a yeah, there's that
this can be because of an, sister, here. An tafsiriya, which is here. Is that the reason for nasab? An yakunu khayran minhum wa qawma
No,
Nuhin.
this is I
No,
think these are
not
different.
the same ayat.
Yeah, these are two different ayats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
So
put
these
them
three
together.
are different ayats. Acha.
Yes. This is one example. I was showing you
Okay.
how it's kadhabat, here version.
Uh-huh.
So here you have
Ji.
here.
Okay.
And here we have huwa version. And here we have
Okay.
hum version. And it's all referring to qawm. Yeah. So I think a lot of people have asked this question, like they go into the Quran, they see kadhabat qawmu, and they're like, why is it feminine? Why is qawm kadhabat? Why is it feminine? And then they go to another place, they say kadhabu, hum version, it's masculine now. Why is it masculine? Before it was feminine, now it's masculine. What's going on? So I just wanted to clarify what's going on in that sense. So basically it depends with the fi'l. If the fi'l comes before, then you can have either a huwa version or a hiya version. If the fi'l comes after, then you have a hum version or a huwa version. Yeah, but most of the time in the Quran, this is what happens. If the fi'l comes after. Any other questions there? This is going to take some time to sink in, I know. Okay, maybe you can rewatch this part again and go through the notes and go through this example. Basically, if you just get this table, look at this table, I think it will just clarify for you. Because ja'a, the fi'al came before, so you have it's ja'a, it's not ja'at, then you have also ja'at. Yeah, and it's all referring to qawm. The people came, the people came. Same translation also. Al-qawmu ja'u, the people came. Al-qawmu ja'a, the people came. So it's the same sentence, just 4 different ways of writing it. Yeah, depending on where the fi'l is positioned. And again, this one is the one that is mostly used in the Quran. Like the hum version is the popular one in the Quran.
Equaling in numbers, na sister? It is in that way.
Yeah. Most of the time, like it would use the number, the hum version. If it's talking about qawm or sha'b or I don't know, one of these words, usba, it's going to be the hum version most of the time. Okay. If you guys think of any other questions, you can let me know. Then we can go to the other category that probably is going to be a new category of plural. And this is plural.
Sorry, sister.
Sure. Go on.
Assalamu alaikum. So the reason they use huwa or hiya or hum version is just like a balagha reason. There's no grammar rule.
For grammar, it just depends on the fi'l. If the fi'l comes before, this is what you use. If the fi'l comes after, this is what you use. That's the grammar.
Yeah, but in both cases, you have 2 options, right?
Yes. Yeah. So yes. So that's what I'm also thinking, that maybe like between huwa or here, why would you use here? Why would you use huwa there? Why does the Quran use huwa version here? Why here version there? Probably it's a balagha thing. I'm not so sure. I
Okay.
haven't researched that, but yeah, you're onto something. Probably. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good observation. I will try and look it up and see if there's something in balagha. Right, great. All right, so the next one, like I was saying, it's plurals by categories. We talked about last week, we talked about jins, lam al-jins. We mentioned this word al-jins, and we said basically it means genus or categories, groups, yeah, things like that. So sometimes you have a plural of a category, of a genus, a specific kind of something, yeah? And this is most of the time, it's very easy to actually know this plural, because there are two kinds of this kind of plural. You have the plural where the singular version has a ta marbuta. For example, the most famous one that you can always remember by is Baqarah. Suratul Baqarah, called the Surah of the cow, not the Surah of the cows. Baqarah, it has a ta marbuta at the end. And the plural of the word Baqarah is actually Baqar, without the ta marbuta. So this is a very easy plural. If it has a ta marbuta at the end, how do you make it plural? You get rid of the ta marbuta. And basically it's talking about a group of the same kind of things, like a group of cows. Group of cows is going to be baqar. One cow is going to be baqara. Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Or for example, you have batikha. Batikha is a watermelon, one watermelon. You get rid of the ta marbuta and now you have so many watermelons. Like it's like a mathematical equation. You know, if you want this equation to balance, if you get rid of the ta marbuta on this side, you have to make sure that this is a plural. I don't know if that makes sense for you or not, but the idea is that, you know, batikha is single, batikh is plural. So one watermelon, batikh, many, many watermelons. Tufahatun, one apple, tufahun, many apples. Tamratun, one date, the one we eat. Yeah, so date, tamr, dates. Okay, so that's the first category. I think that's pretty straightforward. All right. The other category of so the other type of this kind of you know, plural, ismul jins al-jam'i, ismul jins al-jam'i, is where you have the ya and nisba in the singular. So the first one is where you have ta marbuta in the singular. The second one is where you have a ya and nisba in the singular. For example, Arabiyun is one Arab man. The plural will be Arab. Arab is many Arab men. Okay. Or Turkiyun is one Turkish man. One Turkish man. Turk is many Turkish men. Yahudiyun is one Jewish man. Yahud, many Jewish. So you basically just got rid of the ya and nisba in this case. Except for this one, which is it's slightly different, but it's more or less the same pattern. Al-Farisiyu is one Persian man. Al-Furs, now you see this one has a dhamma on it. I think they decided because faras in Arabic means horse. So maybe they decided to put a dhamma on this one to distinguish between faras, which is a horse, and furs, which is many Persian men. Maybe, I don't know. So, but most of the time this comes with stuff that have ya and nisba. Okay. So that will be your basically ismul jins al-jam'i, plural by categories or plurals by genus or groups or things like that, or the similar kinds of things. Yeah. So either it has a ta marbuta in the singular and you got rid of it, or it had a ya and nisba in the singular and you got rid of it. Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy type of plural, right? And this one is treated as singular feminine or singular masculine. Again, we come to the fi'l. If the fi'l comes before and if the fi'l comes after, it's different because now here we have singular feminine. So this is the difference between this one and the other one. With this one, you have a singular feminine because why? This is a non-human broken plural. Okay, so for this one, it's human broken plural, and that's why we did not have singular feminine in this second part. Okay, in this second part, we didn't have singular feminine because it's a human broken plural. We're talking about people here most of the time. Okay, but in this one, most of the time we're not really talking about people, especially when it comes to tufaha, tamr, baqar, batikh, things like that, you know, watermelon. So most of the time it's going to be treated as singular feminine. Or if it is people like Arabiyun, Yahudiyun, then most likely it's going to be 3 masculine. All right. So depending on, is it human plural or is it non-human plural? So let's look at that in this table. It would probably summarize that for us. So if it is, actually, I don't know if this works here. This example, I'm not so sure, honestly. I mean, they put it there, but I'm pretty sure it might not work for human. Maybe it would work for tufah, fasadat. I'm gonna change this a little bit because I don't honestly feel like this is correct unless I will look into it and see. So a tufah, tufah. Fasadat. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense in my mind. I don't know why I didn't realize it earlier on. Okay, so if the fi'l comes before, for example, قال العرب. قال العرب. So you're going to use one masculine. قال هو version. هو قال. قال العرب. Even though I'm talking about so many men, I'm going to treat it like an outside do and say قال العرب. The Arab men said. Or I can say قالت العرب. So I'm going to use the here version. Yeah, if the fi'l comes before. It can either be huwa or here. Remember when you have an outside dua, it can either be huwa or here. So that's kind of like, or maybe also maybe this one we can say maybe the tufah version of it. Let's use it tufah. I'm gonna have to confirm about human plurals if we can also use the here version. That's something I probably need to confirm. Tufah. فسدت التفاح. So we can use the here version then. All right. Or if the fi'l comes after, fasada means to spoil. So the apples spoiled. The apples spoiled. Or if the fi'l comes after, then you have the here version, which is basically what we had here, but now it's inverse. So the fi'l comes first in this example, and here the fi'l comes after, but it's the here version still. Okay, again because of non-human broken plural. And then you have, if it's people, al-Arab qalu. Al-Arab qalu. The Arabs said. Now we use the 3 masculine, which is the whom version. Okay. So the only part where you would have the huwa version is if the fi'l comes before. For example, qala al-Arab. Yes, this is MSA and classical both. Yes. Yeah, this is both. Yeah, but of course you realize that in they would prefer certain, like for example, most of the time they would prefer the whom version for people. Al-Arab qalu, maybe if it comes after, and qala al-Arab. So they would prefer either that or that. And for non-human stuff, they would obviously go with the here version. And you can see the here version is for both. Yeah. So that's basically how I would categorize it. Like if I'm talking about people, I can either say huwa version if the fi'l comes before, or I can use the whom version if the fi'l comes after. And if I'm talking about non-human stuff, then basically it's singular feminine. Either way. I hope that's clear.
But if you simplify it, then that's just because, like qala al-Arab, it's because al-Arab is the fa'il and qala can only be in huwa or here version, so it is huwa, and the 3M because it's jumla ismiya, so it's plural. So that's what we know from before, right?
Exactly, 100%. Like basically, when I was doing these notes, this is how they presented them. But now that I'm thinking about it, and now that you just said it, it's basically stuff that we already know. I don't know why they complicated it like this. So, but it's just basically what you said, because this one is an outside doer, so obviously it has to be the huwa version or the hiya version, here huwa or hiya, and that's why it's like this. And of course, if it's a jumla ismiya, then it's going to be the hum version, like exactly how we know it. Yeah.
Right, and in the non-human, it won't matter because in both cases you'll use it as one female.
Exactly. Yeah, so basically what we know, let's not rewrite what we know, because I think that was a simplified version of how we learned it. I don't know why they complicated it this much. Because even
No,
when I was
because
doing,
initially it was different. When you after you corrected it, it made more sense. But before that, everything was al-Arab, so that was
I really am not so sure that they would actually use singular feminine, or although they have, although it comes in the Quran. I'm gonna have to. I think because you have a broken plural, rusul, that has
right.
been used in the Quran as feminine, singular feminine.
Right. It was just
Yes,
in Surah,
in
the
Surah
one
Taghabun.
Taghabun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
تأتيهم رسولهم.
Exactly. I was just thinking about that.
so yeah, it can happen apparently. So yeah.
And same for the angels, right? That has been used both ways. So maybe your original thing was correct. We just have to
Yeah, I
figure
wasn't sure. I
it
was
out.
doubting myself because I was like, how can you say people as, singular feminine? But I think it can happen. So at the back of our minds, let's just know that that can happen. It's not so common. And I don't think in MSA they actually do it much, because in MSA probably they'll just keep singular. It will just keep like masculine, and feminine, like that.
Didn't start talk about it once. Maybe the number is 1 to 10, or there's this. It's like hyperbole. It's like something like that.
Yeah.
don't remember.
Broken plural versus sound plural. I think that's our discussion from tomorrow. So
Okay.
we'll discuss that, inshallah, and what that means. Yeah. Subhanallah. We just did this in Surah Taghabun. See how things are just coming together like that. Subhanallah. Amazing. Yeah. So basically just learn it the way it is, because this can also happen. But these ones are the common ones. Whom, huwa versions. Then you have 1F as well. Okay. Then we go to another kind of plural, and this is plural with no singular. Apparently, this happens in the Arabic language, where you have something that is plural and it doesn't have a singular version of it. Just plural by nature. And this is called jam'u la mufrada laha, or la mufrad lahu. La mufrada lahu. A plural with no singular. And the only word that I thought, there are several words, but the only one that I put it here is because it's the only one that happens in the Quran, and this is ababil. There's no singular version of ababil, because this word actually means flocks or groups or ranks, and it doesn't have a singular version of it in the same pattern, basically, in the same words. I mean, you can have a flock, but it's going to be a different word. Yeah, so it won't have these root letters. Yeah, so ababil, the singular that has no plural in it. So when you're reading, I think this is Surah Al-Fil, لإلاف قريش. Oh no, ألم ترى كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل.
طيرا أبابيل, yeah.
Yeah, طيرا أبابيل, exactly. Yeah, so when you're reading that, you know this word, it's a plural word that doesn't have any singular versions of it. And then the last kind of plural is the kind of plural that it has, it's a word that can either be plural or singular, depending on the context, how it is used. It looks the same, but it can either mean plural or it can either mean singular. The best example I could find in this is that in English, we have, for example, sheep. One sheep, many sheep. There's no sheeps, no sheepes, or there's no, I don't know, shoop. There's no version of that. It's just sheep, sheep. So in the same way, in Arabic, you have certain words that are like that. And the context is what will tell you. Just like the way you would use sheep in English is the context that will tell you whether you're meaning like 5 sheep or just 1 sheep. Yeah, and this is al-mushtarik بين الجمع والمفرد. Or yeah, so basically words that share both plural and singular. For example, the ones that I could find in the Quran is ضيف and al-fulk. Al-fulk is a good example because it happens in the Quran. In one context, it's talking about one ship, one particular ship. Like, I'm not talking about this sheep. I'm talking about sheep like a boat. Yeah. So fulk means a boat or a ship. Yeah. So in one context, it talks about a single boat, and in another place, it's talking about many boats. So for example, you have والفلك التي تجري. تجري and fulk is feminine, so that's why it's تجري. Here تجري. So it's singular. You can see it's تجري, the ship that sails or that floats. Okay, الفلك التي تجري, talking about one ship, one boat. And in another part of the Quran, it says حتى إذا كنتم في الفلك وجرينا. وجرينا. This is hunna version. This is plural. Here it was تجري, or it was التي, which is singular, and here is جرينا, which is hunna version, and it's still referring to ship. And even if when you look at the translations of these 2 ayat, you would see here it's talking about one ship. Here it would actually says and ships, yeah, with an S, ships. وجرينا بهم بريح طيبة. Yeah. And here again, fulk, this is in the story of Nuh alayhi salam. فَوَحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ أَنِ اصْنَعِ الْفُلْكَ. We know he only made one ship. He only made one ark, one boat. So here it's talking about one. Here it's talking about many. So that's an interesting word to just watch out for in the Quran. It's the kind of word that looks the same in plural and in singular. And that's basically where we're going to stop today. I know it's a bit, I gave you quite a bit and maybe introduced some new stuff. So some of them are pretty straightforward, especially like this one, Ismul Jins al-Jami'i, plurals by categories. That's a sweet one. I like that one so much. These other ones are also straightforward. Like we know plural because the Arab said so. The only problem is that how sometimes they come in the sentence. Like, is it treated as feminine? Is it treated as masculine? That's where the discussion comes in. But you will see it. When you see it in the Quran now, you know. Like, if you see it as masculine, then you know why. If you see it as feminine, you don't really ask yourself, okay, why is it feminine? Why is it? It's because, yeah, they decided. Maybe there's a balagha reason for it. I don't know. Yeah. And then, of course, they have super plurals, which are really fun. Like, you can actually make a plural of a plural of a plural, which is cool. Yeah. I don't know if there are any other questions, but basically we can end there today.
I'm sorry.
Sure, go on.
The fulkullati is that plural, and the allati is because it's referring as one female because it's non-human broken plural. The ships that sail.
But you see here, it wasn't singular that was used. Here it was jarayna. It was plural. It was hunna version.
Yeah, I don't know why hunna was used because
okay, so when we talk about broken plurals, it's because we have a singular version of it. So the question then becomes, what's the singular version of al-fulk? It's not there. It's the same word. There's no, it doesn't have, like, it cannot be a broken plural if it doesn't have a singular version. For example, if I say kafir, and we will talk about this tomorrow. So kafir is one disbeliever. And then you have kuffar. These are many disbelievers. So this is the broken plural of this. Yeah, but if I have al-fulk, there's no singular version of it. It's just fulk. Fulk is one and fulk is many. It's a interesting word, isn't it?
So I think in the first one is being treated as one female, and in the second one is being treated as 3 females. Jarayna hunna.
Yeah, that's because it's many ships. And here is one ship.
But why is
Because
it
they
being
can-
treated as 3 females, like reality-wise? Why is it not 1 female? Because it's not human.
that is also basically an explanation to it. But then how do you go? How will you explain this part? Anisna'il fulka, make a ship, one ship, make one ship, and it's I don't know. So yeah, maybe that's that. But what I'm struggling is that there's no singular version of it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like if you're to talk about it's being treated as singular feminine because it's a broken plural, then what's the singular version of that broken plural?
No, I think what you're saying is in both first and second, they are plural by meaning. Because there's no singular version, correct?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so
in the
by meaning.
first one, right? But in the first one, it's plural, but it's being referred to as one female. It's allati, right? And in the second one, it's being referred as Jaraina, as Hunna. So it's being referred as 3 female.
I need to confirm. I don't know how translations have done this part. If they
Ships.
translate as ships.
I just
Oh,
checked the
did ships.
translation is
Ah,
ships.
okay.
It's not. Yeah.
Okay. Then in that case, yeah. So in that case, this is treated as 1F, and this is treated as 3F because it's a non-human broken plural. But basically, it could mean one ship, or it could, and in this case of the story of Noah is basically one ship. Like one, it's referring to one thing, not many things. But in these first 2 examples, it's referring to many ships. Yeah, that's
Okay.
a good observation. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, that makes sense. Any other observations that I missed anything? Or clarifications maybe needed or something? How can we find a list of these kinds of plurals? There's a book. It's in Arabic. If you're interested, I can share with you the PDF, but it's in Arabic. But of course, when you like the first, you don't have to like read the whole thing. If you know just how to search, you can just go to the word like the way you have a normal dictionary. You go to the word, the root letters, and it will tell you like isim jama. It has its own abbreviations, but you can pick it up really quickly. So inshallah, I can try and share that, and you can have fun with that and just check out different words and the different plurals and stuff. That will be fun. I also haven't used it, by the way. I would like to actually check out this word fulk because I'm not really 100% sure about this one. So I'm gonna check this one as well. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام
وعليكم السلام ورحمة
وعليكم
الله. جزاك الله خيرا كثيرا.
جزاك الله
وإياكم
خير.
جزاكم الله خير.